Live on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. I am merely Bo. You're on. He is the great Z. Dude, what a time to be alive.
Dude.
Is it? Yeah. I feel
Look
like
at
we
this
need to
hoodie
be up.
you're wearing. Can we talk about this for a second? What you're wearing right now? You look stunning.
So, for the longest time, I have seen in this building people, walking around with fancy hoodies that nobody could get. We've been mocked. You've been efforting for what seems like 9 months.
I have the coolest
to no
one
avail.
now. I have the coolest one.
You
now.
do. You do.
I have the coolest one.
Yeah, you do. And so I've seen all of this transpire, and I feel like it's almost to the point now where the market has been flooded a little bit with them.
Yep.
And so I just took matters into my own hands. And, I know people who run clothing companies, and I said they have an NFL license. What do you say? And so the good friends at Homage crushed it with the Runnin' Elf. It's ready to go.
It'd be nice if it said Cleveland Browns Daily.
Well, that would be next level. I don't know if they can I think maybe they could mass market those. Nice little charity, set it up. So what I did is I said, you know what? So you will be able to buy these, I think, August 15th.
Oh, baby.
I think would be the release.
And it's right there live and in color, Daddy.
And you're getting it right now. But I took care of you. I took care of Gibbe. Made sure that you guys had some gear and set up because I take care of my friends.
That's right.
We make sure everybody, you take care of your people.
What I think would have been cool is if you gave it to me, but then just had it on a dummy that was at the other end of the building. I think that would have made a lot of sense. I think that would have been good.
I like the idea on a dummy, especially at the other end of the building.
Yeah, that's yours. See,
that's yours.
Yeah, you're not gonna get any benefit out of it.
No,
because it's so far.
It's so far.
But it's yours.
Yeah,
it's here.
Know
for
that
you.
It's yours.
Right. Know that it's there for you.
It's there for you.
But you
can't wear it.
No benefits for you.
No benefits for you. You just stay right where you're at. But know in your mind that that's yours.
It's kind of like because I could see it.
Yeah, you could
that
see
I could
it.
feel
Almost.
the warmth that it would give me.
Yep.
Much like if there was a fan set up in the parking lot over there, I would maybe mentally feel the cold air because I could see that
you
it
could
was
see
blowing.
it.
Right.
It's really mentally wrapping your head. We're tricking your mind.
Exactly.
Is what it is. Yeah. To make you believe.
You want to go down this road today? Want to go down this road?
That's weird that you're getting defensive.
I don't understand.
It's going to be a long plane ride.
I don't know what happened.
I know why you're getting defensive right now.
I don't know.
What are you defensive about?
I'm happy to put you to work all day tomorrow, too.
What are you defensive? I am doing work all day tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
I mean,
no
your
tea time for you
your
guys?
version of a full day and everybody else's version.
Still no tea time.
Oh, my God. Buddy
boy.
boy.
Listen, buddy boy.
Listen, pal.
Remember, I think one of my greatest contributions to your life, and I probably have several, but I think my greatest contribution to your life, you thought pal was derogatory.
Oh, it was right there.
That one it was.
No doubt.
But you thought it was derogatory.
Yes.
I love pal.
So
I think it's a great.
To be fair,
it's an incredible term of endearment.
It was I don't know if you alone could have convinced me because at times we can steal stories,
Sure.
we can make things.
Yeah.
But if you remember, it was maybe one of the greatest tag teams of all time. You and the great Cole.
Oh God!
Also
Cole
threw
was
an
involved
affectionate
on the pal.
Yeah,
my pals.
And you together, the two of you.
Yeah.
And then I was like, pal's in. Pal's back,
in.
baby.
Pal's back in a big way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think
it's fun
anytime.
to throw a
Listen, pal. Yeah. That because it's really the way you say it.
Yeah. It says a lot more than pal.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I think anytime it is something that is written on a tombstone of one William Billy Bonney, Billy the Kid, pals. That's a win.
That feels
like
a
term of endearment.
Has he given up already? He's
out, dude. He's
out,
texting. He doesn't know
on his
what's
phone
going on.
already.
He's out. He's over it.
Yeah.
Did you book a tea time?
We have a flight. We have logistics.
There's no logistics. You're just getting on a plane. You just drive over there. They put you on a tarmac and you fly down.
No.
What you're doing right now is insulting to the great Bryant Swindle, who's gotten us all prepared and ready to go. He's handled the logistics. He's booked the hotel. He's scheduled the plane.
You're not booking anything, are you guys?
You're just
We're loading in at stadium tonight. I'm currently dealing with that.
You're loading in at stadium? We don't play till Friday, Gibby.
Yeah, well, Mr. Mellon is loading in tonight, so therefore we'll load in tonight.
Oh, baby.
Well,
Testy Gibby.
Yeah.
I liked Chesty Gibby.
There's no chesty. I'm just saying.
Testy.
With
On
a
edge.
T.
With a T.
A proper T.
Yeah.
Like when we, eventually, when, if we get weather delay on Friday night.
Why would you even
Is that in
want
the
to
cards?
speak that into existence? This is his new thing. He's
And
having
by
so
the
much
way,
fun with
I
it.
just want to film Zagura's reaction.
I'm going to tell you something else. By the way, the idea that Gibby takes so much pleasure in your annoyance that even something that will annoy him equally as much,
Oh, yeah.
he's willing to sacrifice that just to stick it to you on some sort of weather delay.
I mean, think about the incredible heel turn yesterday when he allowed Jake Trotter to take credit for things that have been well documented by me forever. The funny thing, and I don't know if I might be mistaken on this, but in my mind's eye, I feel like, Dearness was here before Jake was even really
I believe you have that.
thriving in his
Well, no,
role.
he was here.
In 18,
Was he here
right, with
year
Baker?
one of Baker or
I
year
don't
two
know.
of Baker?
Yeah, I don't know if he was here in year one.
I can't remember if Jake was year one or year two with
Jake,
Baker.
I feel like we have been friends with Jake from the second he got here. And
Yes, we
I
sought him
remember
out immediately.
interviewing Dearness when nobody even knew who Dearness was at a training camp, and I don't remember being friends with Jake yet. And if Jake were here, we would have been friends.
I know that there's
after what
place
happened
for Jake
yesterday.
Trotter on this show anytime he'd like a microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we know very well how you feel.
By
I
the
got to
way-
be honest with you. You're not getting no weather delay. It's
stop it.
gonna be afternoon. It's Florida.
Florida
I know
brother.
this.
It's gonna be a thunderstorm
I know
at
this,
4:12.
but in his
It'll
head
last-
right now,
it'll feel
I
like
am renting space.
It's going to feel like the world is going to end. It's going to get dark. There's going to be lightning. It's going to pour for 20 minutes, and then the sun is going to be out.
That's what we did in
and
Tampa.
The steam is just going to just come up from the ground.
And it'll be great because I'm in a
It's
booth.
every
I'm in
single
an environment
day.
controlled
Controlled
environment.
Does Jimmy like them open even when it's hot?
Oh,
Doors
yeah.
open even
Yeah, I
hot?
want the doors open too.
For sure. Like, you got to hear it. You got to hear the crowd noise. You get a little AC in there despite
Define
it? Or they
crowd noise in Jacksonville, Florida.
Listen, Lawrence debut.
Lawrence debut, the
Etienne?
splashing of the pool. Zzz.
There's an air conditioner. There's a vent in the back. Now, I totally forgot this last year because I was trying to pull up a photo from our trip last year, and I totally forgot that a pipe burst above us.
Okay.
And the ceiling tile got to the point where it was bowing.
It was bowing.
And then it collapsed at the very end, and there was just water streaming in as we were getting out of the booth.
Like a sinkhole almost.
But there's a vent back there, but they will not feel it in the front row.
I
will feel it.
You'll feel it. I like that place. Now, I haven't been in it in
I do
15
too.
years, but I do like the stadium.
There's
I like
every
it.
seat's
It's good.
It's a great view.
Yeah, it is. It's a good. The press box is good. The stands are good. Every seat's good. It's usually sun kissed. I mean, the days are usually good. In fall in Jacksonville, it's north enough Florida that you get some perfect days in October, November. It's awesome. I've been to the cocktail party there. Covered a lot of Jacksonville games there when I was in Florida. I'm assuming it's been improved upon. The pools weren't there when I was there, but I'm sure they've made some improvements to it.
The
But
pools are lovely.
I like that place. I think it's good. I think it's crazy that an NFL team is in Jacksonville, but other than that, I think it's good.
It is. The most frustrating thing is the city doesn't even embrace their own football team.
It's
the
not a big
parking
enough
lots
city,
don't
though.
Open till
Right.
2 hours before kick. I've been down there as a fan, and you're struggling to find somewhere to go at 8 a.m. for a 1 o'clock kick.
Well, so there's a so when I was down there covering that was that would have been Brunell,
Big time,
Fred Taylor,
big time teams.
like that into David Garrard, Leftwich, during that run. That's
a good
sort
run.
of what, and then into Maurice Jones-Drew, during that time. So this was 02, fall of 01 to 07 was when I was in North Florida at that time.
Yep.
And so they were a pretty quality team, and then they went to kind of like a nowhere team, by the time it was done. And at that time, the landing was pretty cool. You'd go to the landing, and then they'd kind of matriculate over. But I want to say 03 or 04, I went and covered the cocktail party there, and that's a different animal. And that's something that when they put that team in Jacksonville, they were hoping that they could have that as an NFL. And it's just not big enough for that. And the other thing that they didn't consider, I think, in this was that they were hoping that they would pull from Orlando, but they're not.
No.
Orlando people are either predisposed Dolphin fans or predisposed Bucks fans, and they're well established. So they were never going to go north. Orlando always looks at Jacksonville as like a little brother. Wait, why did they have the team and we don't? Makes no sense.
Who represents more at the cocktail party?
It's
Georgia,
split.
Georgia,
it's
Florida,
legit
right?
split. It's legit split.
Yeah,
that's
LeCount's
right.
LeCount's already. I saw him in the cafe the other day. I said, "You excited to go back there?" He goes, "I never lose in that stadium."
Well, which is crazy because when I was there, they never won. Florida won like 19 out of 20 years, and then Georgia's been really good in the last 10 years. Florida sucked after Urban. But no, they split it right down the middle, and it's awesome. And the party afterwards is great. And so I think that's what they were trying to get. It just isn't something that they've been able to land it on. So, but I do like the stadium. It's a cool.
It is not. I've sat in the upper deck.
Yeah,
and it's like sitting in the club level here.
There is no bad seat. Truly,
No.
It's really good. It's good for that sense. I'm guessing there'll be a lot of Browns fans there because there's a lot of there's a lot of Browns fans everywhere. But there'll be a lot.
Well, speaking of, you saw yesterday the thing that came out.
I did.
#1 fans in all the land, baby.
It doesn't surprise me at all. I mean,
We have a trophy in here.
Yeah, we won
We
that
don't know
one.
how we ended up with that trophy.
This
but
was
I've never given it
at
back.
home or on the road. These NFL teams draw the biggest crowd, highest attendance percentage, home and away combined. Browns games 99.2, Patriots second 98.5, Rams 98.1 or third, Dolphins 97.6 fourth, Ravens 97.5 fifth, Chiefs 97.3 sixth. So you got AFC Championship, perennial power. Dolphins are not. Rams Super Bowl champion. There.
what? Give me that top 5 again.
Browns, Patriots, Rams, Dolphins, Ravens, Chiefs are 6.
It's hard for me to believe the Rams would be third on that list. It seems like a lot of apathy there.
If you go on, Bears 7, Broncos 8, Vikings 9, Colts 10. So Midwest has Colts, Vikings, Bears, Chiefs, Browns.
No Bills?
Not in top. No.
I'm sorry.
I have a hard time believing that.
Over the-
Where'd you have Steelers? No, I don't buy that either. That doesn't seem to jive to me.
Hey, man.
I mean, the top of it I like. I just have a hard time believing there's more Rams fans than Steelers fans
Or
in the
Bills
country.
fans.
Or Bills. Especially Steelers, though.
Yeah.
Like in your mind's eye,
Sure.
in my mind's eye, the most popular NFL teams in the country are the Cowboys, the Steelers, and the Packers. It feels like that stuff is everywhere. No matter what city you go in, you can buy that gear.
Again, and the only thing that I can comment on, and I will say this, and I do feel that this is true. Browns fans, I feel like at every game we go to, there are more Browns fans than there would be for any team that's coming to our stadium.
I would
No
agree.
question.
From a fan base standpoint and from a Browns backer standpoint,
when we-
It's not
no
close.
one has a bigger.
When we
following.
win on the road, we take over by the fourth quarter. Like if it's a game where we've won and it's good night Irene City, like what we do to the Bengals, even though they're clearly bitter about it and taking to social media.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
Browns fans take over the lower bowl. Like
Yes.
everybody's out, and Browns fans are all. It's as if you're in a home game with just the lower bowl filled.
The loyalty of this fan base is really unmatched.
Yeah,
It's unmatched because all the rest of them have a lot of big-time Super Bowl winning that you can fall back on, and even in recent history, and we don't. And yet everything you just said is true. It's the best fan base in sport, I think, in my belief.
That's right.
And most loyal. Obviously, we saw this yesterday with Shaquem Grant. Like, we watched it happen.
dude.
It's the worst. It just sucks. It totally sucks. And I know that I don't know if it's gotten the attention because of everything else that's swirling here. This dude was an all-pro the
Yeah.
last 2 seasons. All-pro.
Yep, all pro bowler. He's had a return touchdown in 4 straight seasons.
Yeah, it's just
We haven't had a kick return since 2009, and we haven't had a punt return since 2015. And we thought he would be a weapon. And not only that, he's a guy that makes big plays as a receiver. He's got 500 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns in the last 2 years alone. And so at a high big play percentage. It's the great Cleve TA pointed out on Twitter today. So this is a big loss because you go back and you immediately say, okay, well, then who's returning? Well, Schwartz last year led you in kick returns, 15 for 322, had a long of 35 yards, 21.5 average. Dearness actually had your best per return average, 23.2. And then you go to punt returns. You know, Felton averaged 7.1, DPJ averaged 7.9. You know, there wasn't a whole lot going on there. And all of a sudden you felt like you had somebody who could be dangerous and could maybe all it takes, the difference between this team making the playoffs and not, would be one game where you get that return that breaks the game wide open. And now you feel like it's going to be tougher to do that. And Mike Prefer, I know, is devastated. I mean, I think that he was so excited. I mean, he did wasn't his press conference over the weekend, Gibbe?
Yep.
And he was talking about just how he changes it, and he's somebody that he's wanted for years. And now, unfortunately, he doesn't have the opportunity to have him for this season. It's very unfortunate. It goes on, and again, it shines more of a spotlight on a wide receiver room right now that I feel like has a spotlight on it. Is it currently adequate? And they were going to have packages in place to take advantage of his skill set.
I didn't think it was just based on health and availability before his injury. I've been skeptical if there were enough guys in there. And so now it just shines an even bigger light on it. You don't know who's out there, who could come in. Nobody on his level. Nobody. So
no,
that's a tremendous blow to the return game. This is the thing that's – when you look at how this team was constructed and with the idea of what the Watson – like the original Watson suspension, it's constructed to win the Super Bowl right now. Clowney for a year, Grant back, draft Cade York, Kareem probably last year here. All of those, this is constructed to win the Super Bowl right now, and now couple of those things are completely up in the air. Who knows what's going to happen with Watson, and Jakeem Grant is done. So that's brutal. You're sick for him, and you're watching it yesterday. You knew it. I mean, you knew it. You didn't know it was that, but you knew it was bad.
You knew it was bad.
Anytime you see a guy down, they won't get up, cart, writhing.
Sad.
That's
emotion.
It. Sadness, emotional, yeah.
And when they turned him over and started feeling towards the bottom of his leg, you said, okay, this. Hopefully they feel it there, right? That's the thing that you're hoping for is, can we feel something there?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the answer was no, not, which was tough.
So the other part of that, let's get this out of the way. Roger Goodell was available yesterday. What do we have, owners meeting somewhere?
Yeah, the owners meeting's up in Minneapolis.
Really?
There's young Connor. Yeah.
Boy, usually they're like Pelican Hill.
Yeah, they're the Breakers.
Yeah, they're usually
or the
like
Arizona Biltmore.
I was going to say the Biltmore.
Yeah,
I feel like it's Pelican Hill, the Biltmore, the Breakers. Like that's usually how these are done. And Minneapolis is a fine city,
wonderful town,
but
great stadium.
Fantastic.
Got that
stadium.
right.
So Roger Goodell, you've seen it by now. He talks about the various things that Sewell Robinson had to say about Deshaun. He obviously cherry picked the stuff that he liked as opposed to the entire report, which also held the NFL's feet to the fire pretty harshly on the idea of, look, Raj, you can't just reinvent discipline in the middle of a stream.
By the way, Roger Goodell testified to that very effect back in 2000. I want to say 14, as it related to the Ray Rice case. And in fact, just to read it to you, what he said is, I gave him the discipline I felt it was appropriate. The policy change was forward-looking because the league is, quote, required to provide proper notification.
Yep, which is exactly what she said in her ruling, and they're doing the opposite here.
That's right.
Or so it appears. So
it would appear.
There you go on that. Did you guys watch Hard Knocks last night?
I did.
I loved it.
I was more excited for it than I'd been for a Hard Knocks in a long time. I actually wanted to watch it, and it gave me everything that I wanted it to give me. I thought he's great. Their staff, the Deuce Staley, Aaron Glenn stuff was awesome. And Aaron Glenn was here. Aaron Glenn was our DB coach when Pettin was the head coach, so 14 and 15.
Okay.
He was great.
And he was great.
Yeah.
He is like me. He's gotten a little more gray in the beard over the past decade, but he's awesome. And just the back and forth with him and Deuce Staley Deuce Staley's a wild. That is a team of there are a lot of wild men involved with what's going on.
That is the ultimate football guy team.
Yes.
Top, bottom, everybody. As I'm watching it, and I'm watching the first 4 minutes of Dan Campbell, I just think Dan Campbell is everything that John Dorsey hoped Freddie Kitchens would be.
Yes.
When he hired him.
Yes.
That's what he wanted. He wanted that. That is the personification of John Dorsey's perfect football coach is Dan Campbell. Now, Campbell was there before Dorsey was there, right? Or did they come in at the same time? Spielman hired both. And Dorsey's not the GM. He's a head of scouting or whatever. But
he's been there. How many years has Dorsey been there?
Second year for Dorsey and second year for Campbell?
Or even
his third for Dorsey.
Dorsey may have predated.
Okay. So the idea of Chris Spielman and John Dorsey landing on Dan Campbell, perfect. Of course, that's how that would go. Not to say that Dorsey had the say that he had here or that he would have the say of Spiels, but it all adds up. As somebody who knows Spielman a little bit like I do.
More importantly, that team and those people in that building embrace a show like Hard Knocks. We're not shying away.
You're not getting Devin Kajus.
I want to be in the spotlight.
No,
I want to put this out there.
I just wanted to pose this to you guys. Do you ever recall a Hard Knocks where the head coach was that big of a star? It felt to me like he had 80% of the dialogue in the episode.
So
a little bit of Hutchinson, a little bit of Staley, and
a lot of Staley and Glenn.
Yeah. But I felt like felt like Dan Campbell's like 70% of the talking.
Yes, 100%. And given a lot of candid sit-down one-on-one interviews, which is kind of that feels newer to me in Hard Knocks as opposed to little one-off features where they're just sitting down and I liked it. I did feel, and I like Jamal Williams, the football player, like him as Green Bay, and now it's. I felt like his speech. There were a couple times he looked over and looked directly into the camera, where I felt like that allowed him to get into, and that was an incredible speech. I mean, all of a sudden it turned real emotional, real quick, and was wild. But I think that was enhanced by Hard Knocks, and he delivered on something that I found interesting to watch. I enjoyed that.
Could not have crushed it more.
No, it's great.
No.
But I don't know that speech gets there without the camera, because he was getting after it, and then he looked over and he went right into the camera once. And then you saw him go, all right, he went up a notch, and then he gave one more glance, and that's when it was full, and then now we're crying. Yeah. And I felt like even some of the guys were kind of like, oh my God. And some guys were like, oh yeah, we're with you, man. Like we got this.
So I was thinking of this too. This is Jared Goff's third time on Hard Knocks. We talk a lot about you talk a lot about young quarterbacks being put in a position to succeed. Can you overcome the circumstances you're in? This is a dude who was drafted by Jeff Fisher, who I used to do a show with a guy who played for a lot of years under Jeff Fisher, and Jeff Fisher has a very specific style, player first, laid back style. And then was coached by Sean McVay, who has a very specific style, and is now coached by Dan Campbell. I would argue that there is not a bigger difference in personality over 3 coaching hires that anyone could have to start their career than what Jared Goff has had to start his.
No, I would completely agree with you. And he actually threw the ball around pretty well. And
looked good.
He looked good. I think that was DJ Chark, because they didn't spend
much time on the players.
It was
honestly.
number 4.
It was a lot of coaches. It was mostly coaches.
Number 4, I think. It was a 4 or 5. It was a single-digit number receiver. Caught a lot of the balls that were happening.
And I don't think Jamison Williams is involved yet. Like, I'm surprised they didn't introduce him. I saw he's wearing 9 today. He called Stafford to see if he could wear it. But so I assume that's DJ.
I thought so, but I again don't know because we haven't gotten into that yet with the Detroit Lions. But yeah, very coach focused, very good. The other thing that I would say is that is a markedly different training camp from ours,
dude. When he goes
markedly,
full contact,
dude, they were decapitating each other.
That's correct. And then he gives the speech about why it's necessary in his view,
and
then he's
crying.
almost emotional, saying, "All I do is think about you guys.
That's all I do."
And I was like, "That is so different,
so different."
And listen, you can win both ways.
Of course,
this isn't something where it's like this is the only way. There's a million different ways to win in this thing.
100%.
But that is a lot different than this.
I just am so curious to know, like, where they're at health-wise, because just some of the clips they showed were like head-hunting hits, like hits that you would probably certainly get a flag for. There was one where a receiver went over the middle and got absolutely smoked by his own teammate.
Yeah,
like that. In this practice, I think you'd be out.
You're out.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're not doing it anymore. No way. No how. So, yeah, smoked.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting thing. And then you go and you look at the approaches to preseason, right? The Rams played nobody. They win the Super Bowl. That doesn't mean playing nobody guarantees you win the Super Bowl. It just means that this time of year, however you prepare is how your team's going to go after it. And I think for a Lions team, it makes some sense to get like that and have that sense of urgency because, you're coming off of what were they? 2-15, 3-14?
3-14.
You don't want to start slow again.
No. And they lost a lot of stupid games.
And a lot of close games.
Yeah, they were in a lot of them. They had just weird things happen to them, like field goals at the end.
The Tucker one.
Yeah,
how about the fact that he is in the fourth quarter and overtime? He's 58 for his last 58.
Yeah.
Like, that's nuts.
That's nuts. Yeah.
That is a ludicrous stat.
Yeah. There was something that Campbell said. It's funny. I tell it to the interns. Stevie, take notes. This is important. I always said this to all my interns. And he said it last night, and it was spot on. You have to be honest to yourself in who you are. That was a incredibly authentic view into Dan Campbell, the coach. He's not changing who he is, and he even talked about that with his staff. Like with the one coach had the long hair and he was going to cut his hair.
Yeah,
and
he's
Campbell's
like,
no, that's who you are.
Yeah.
Like I'm hiring that. Like that's critical. Whether you do this, whatever you do, you got to be you. You can't put on some act because eventually the act is viewed as one that is fraudulent. It's not fraudulent if you are who you are.
And clearly from the Deuce Staley school of things, that's exactly who he is. Do you feel like, and this struck me watching it last night, I think they kind of look somewhat the same. Obviously, Staley's a little thicker. I feel like they conduct themselves very much. I feel like Deuce Staley and Steve Smith like may share some type of DNA. Like there is
Holy hell.
They have to be cut
I
from the
didn't
same
put
cloth.
that together until you said it, and then as soon as you said, before you even said Steve's name, that's who I said. I didn't even think about it last night.
That's
until
all I could
right
think of when I
now.
saw it. I'm like, this is what Steve Smith would be doing.
It's exactly what he would be doing.
And if they were on the same staff, I feel like they would end up like Aaron Glenn is a calm,
really calm
dude. Like
when he was mocking like his writing.
Yeah. Oh,
Take
you're
your
not writing
notes?
anything. You're not writing anything. And he's like, why are you circling? He's like a vulture. I'm just circling you because you're gonna die soon. It's amazing. What? Like Deuce Staley, I think at one point would want him to fight because where else is he gonna get the physical?
Where else is he
going to
go?
The physicality.
He wants it. Yeah. It's funny. I don't know. I have no idea. You know, none of us know any idea. I like them. I like their team.
Same.
Before all of this, I liked their team anyway. I thought that they could take a step, and maybe I think they're definitely clearly better in Chicago.
Yes.
And I think they have a chance to be better than Minnesota. We'll see. But this has a potential to be an all-time Hard Knocks.
Oh yeah.
It's in
You're
play.
asked to think about the coach. The last time that I felt like a coach was featured that much, and it turned out I think to almost maybe end his coaching career was Mike Smith in the Atlanta one, where you're like, this guy just is
A zero.
brutal, but he was everywhere.
He was everywhere. Yeah, Mike. Yeah.
And almost felt like they were like, hey,
look, this ain't it.
this is not going to work.
Yeah. This was the opposite.
Very much.
It was great. Really, really good. All right. Well, we have an idea of who you will see from the Jacksonville perspective on Friday night. We will get into that a little bit. Hopefully by the end of the show, we'll have a pretty good idea who we're going to see for us.
Have we taken a break?
We're going to do it right now.
What a banger for everybody.
Stevie's been trying.
30-minute bomb.
I give him a,
Did he
I give him an A
did he
for
take
effort.
down his notes? The
Actually,
notes?
he wrote down exactly
That's the
what you
most
said,
important
by
note
the
I can
way.
give you, Stevie. That's the most important note. All right. So we got a lot of fun on the program today. We're off and running. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. It's kind of like the line in Dumb and Dumber. Just when I think you couldn't be all of the things that stupid and all of that, you do something like this and totally redeem yourself. The conversation that we just had off air,
it's unreal.
All right.
It's stupefying, brother.
You said it, brother. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer, as an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. Dude, this is pretty cool. So your first game as the full-time color analyst on the radio networks, standing alongside the legendary Jim Donovan, you get Trevor Lawrence. You're going to get Trevor Lawrence, buddy.
And we got him last year in Jacksonville for
but
a couple
you're
of years,
getting
but
him.
I'm getting it. Yeah,
you're getting him.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
This is really cool. So you get Lawrence, you get Etienne, Doug Peterson saying some other starters are going to play on Friday as well.
Yeah.
Peterson saying he's planning to play them a couple of series, nothing too crazy, nothing too long. We want to get the feel of the game, get them in there, and get them working in game situations. Awesome.
Yeah, and I'm curious
That's fun.
To see what ultimately our plan is going to be and how the Browns are going to approach this particular game. And I'm hopeful we'll get that information sometime relatively soon. But it wouldn't surprise me at all, given the nature of this camp, given the nature that everything that's happening. Like, it would not surprise me at all to see Deshaun Watson, and it would not surprise me to see some of the starters. I think that you can probably, everybody in their head, if you said, all right, here's 8 guys that aren't going to play, you can probably figure out who that would be. But I think that'll be good, because I think we want to play. You got to see some football, and I think it's a good distraction for this team. And I don't know if it's 8 or not. I'm just throwing out a name, but I think like people that you would say wrap and bubble wrap, I think there's probably a pretty good chance that you will see those people in bubble wrap.
Okay. I'm just writing down.
Well, we know you won't see Denzel.
No. Yeah, no, I just want to.
For sure.
I just want to run my list by you as you said that.
Okay.
I feel like this is final answer. I rushed the last 2.
Okay.
Miles, Jadeveon, Chubb, Denzel, none.
I mean, I would imagine.
Amari, no.
Probably.
I mean, my God, I wouldn't even have Amari do anything. I would literally put him on a treadmill.
Yeah, sure.
And
sure.
I wouldn't even have him near a human.
Those are the names that's certainly in the running, yeah.
So then those would be the 5 that I would say no. I almost put Jacoby on it, but I'm not. I don't know how this is going to go with, because who knows what's going to happen with Deshaun. We could have finality.
I wonder
tomorrow.
if Jacoby and Deshaun will be binary. Like, you're only going to put them out behind a certain offensive line.
Yeah.
So if it's a Deshaun, then maybe there wouldn't be Jacoby. If it's Jacoby, then there wouldn't be Deshaun. Like, you're not.
I like
so that. You don't.
I like it.
Overextend the reps of your line.
The other 3 I thought of, and this was where it got tricky. Like, I don't think Conklin.
No, he hasn't done anything.
He's done nothing, so he's not.
Absolutely
not. Joel, do we need to see Joel?
You do not need to see.
But
Joel.
I just wonder if Watson's in there, you probably want Joel in there
potentially,
because they're going to play their guys.
Sure.
Right.
But you do not need to see Joel.
But you don't
Bitonio.
need to see it.
9th year.
No.
No.
Clearly not. All pro. And then I'd put JOK, but I don't know about that.
I think you want JOK to play.
You want him to play?
Okay. I think you want.
So who's the 8th?
I was just
but if we were 8, who would be your 8th? If you had no problem with all of I said.
Yeah. If it was 8, I would probably add, and this is solely based on what happened on Monday, that he didn't finish practice, or on Tuesday he didn't finish yesterday. These days I
don't know,
idea.
brother, what day it is.
Tuesday, Greg didn't finish practice.
Okay.
So
I then would JOK in, Greg out.
If I were doing, and then another guy that I would consider as a possible would be John. I don't think you need John Johnson out there.
No.
But if you wanted to, sure.
Give it a go. Yeah.
Like AWOC's just coming back. Do you need AWOC out there for this? Probably not.
No. I think, you've got – I don't need to see anything for Miles, Jadeveon, Nick Chubb, Denzel Ward, Amari Cooper for the entire preseason.
I don't need to see Kareem either, me personally.
No. It's just – yeah. No, that's true. Keep Kareem out, and then you just go give Ford the carries. Ford and Dearnest.
Yeah. Which
is
great. By the way, and John Kelly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you don't need him. Yeah.
I mean, you're right.
I'll be honest with you. As much as from a content standpoint, I appreciate the fact that Trevor Lawrence is playing, and it's different, I think, when you're younger, when you're older. I see the value in that maybe. I would probably, if I were running an NFL team, I'd be doing it McVay style.
100%.
I would have no interest in doing this.
So in the case of a Trevor Lawrence now with Doug Peterson, and I don't know what their joint practice schedule is, and I don't even know if you're able to do this. I would want to have as many joint practices as I could, and that would be, I'd take, a few weeks, get everything installed, get us where we're feeling good, and then joint practices all the time, and then in the games, let guys try to make their roster or make careers for themselves.
I have never seen a joint practice. You've seen them several times. Man. Do they do a pretty good job of taking care of each other, the two teams? I know that
it can get chippy
but
at times.
In terms of there's no cheap, right? Like everybody knows what the rules are.
No, and I don't think we've ever seen we've never seen tackling to the ground at one of those, have we?
In a joint practice?
Yeah.
I mean, that first practice with the Colts got awfully interesting.
It got chippy, but I don't think there was full contact. And even the Buffalo one where they embarrassed us, and it became pretty clear that 2015 might not be the season
I got
we had hoped
taunted
it
by
was
players.
Gibby was being taunted. Yeah, which was
You
great.
were?
Yeah.
What?
Hey, Browns guy.
God. Hey, Browns guy.
Hey, Browns guy. You guys going to have a better effort tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like,
Browns guy. Jeez.
Depends if we're running Justin Gilbert back out there or not. I don't know.
Oh, my God. He had a rough go. And that was when – so that was
how
15.
quickly did you know he wasn't it?
Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, when you don't even stay – when you're a top 10 pick in the draft and you don't even stay in the league for your rookie contract.
Yeah, it doesn't get the attention of some of the quarterback busts.
Well, it happened with him and Johnny in the same draft.
Right, but Johnny, at least you could see Johnny had at the worst. I mean, he could have been like a Minshew guy or better. Like he had some of that.
Sure,
he was never going to be more than that. But you could at least see
there's some moxie. There's some things.
Yeah, you could say, okay, I could see how this guy could bounce around a little bit if he had the right headspace. But like Gilbert.
It was less to do with his athletic ability and his on-the-field abilities. It had much more to do with he just wasn't a pro.
Gilbert wasn't either.
No.
So neither you just neither one.
Yeah, he just didn't. He just
crazy.
Didn't quite get it. But that was the other one too. I think I have the timing of this right. 2015, Terrell Pryor was with the Browns, right, Gibbe? When we were up there in Buffalo.
I feel like that was 16.
16 was his good year.
Was he here 2 years?
I don't know, let me look.
I don't. The one thing I will say about Jacksonville going back to.
He was here in 15 for sure.
Yeah.
Pryor was, because you guys were down in Columbus, and I remember doing live shots for CBS affiliate down there where I worked at the time, and it was the first time he was back in the stadium because he was banned.
Yeah.
So it was like, wait, Pryor's back in the stadium? He was banned from campus. He could never go.
That's right, because he talked too.
Yeah.
After practice.
Yeah. And he was
awfully hot on that turf.
It was brutally hot on that turf. Yeah.
Um,
the one thing, the Jags, like, this is their second game.
Yeah.
Don't forget. I mean, they already
played their number one pick in the draft last week against.
Yeah.
You know.
So
right. So I did have this right. 15. Terrell Pryor was there in Buffalo, and could not get off the line of a scrimmage to run a route against the Buffalo corners.
Really, they just were right up.
And he didn't have it. And I still say, yeah, I had that right. Seeing that in 15, at the beginning of 15, and then the work that he put in with Al Saunders and Hugh, to think that guy who couldn't run a route, like let alone not get open, not catch it, he was not able to get 5 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Who was their something White?
Tre'Davious White.
Tre'Davious White. Yeah. He couldn't get off the line of scrimmage against this Bills team in 15, and then in 2016 he has 1,007 yards receiving. That, to me, tells you about the talent he had, but the work ethic that he put in and what they were able to do with him from coaching standpoint and his own work standpoint. And it never happened again. Obviously, he goes to Washington, signs that big deal.
Yep.
It never happens again. But if you would have told me watching that, or probably anybody there, or even asked him honestly in the depths of his truth, are you ever going to be 1,000-yard receiver in the NFL after that training camp experience? Not a chance. And then he was. And that, to me, is incredible.
He might be he's on a very short list of most mismanaged athletes from him going to Ohio State.
Sure.
And kind of what they didn't do with him, what they had him do and what they didn't do. Like, he got no quarterback coaching. None. I mean, they would run first 2 plays under center, the 4th plays out of the shotgun, run around, make something happen. That was the offense.
Yep.
So to then a guy who gets undone by an NCAA process and forced to go pro because of the Tatgate nonsense, which is baby stuff alongside of now.
Oh my goodness.
So you have that happen. Then he goes to the Raiders and they nurture him along, and then somehow switches. I always thought it was so comedy when people say, "Why can't he play receiver?" Dude, he'd played quarterback only his entire life. His whole life.
S was scouting him as in 6th grade.
There was a LeBron of football feel to Terrell Pryor's recruitment. It was known who he was at a very young age, and it was just about where was he going to go, and everybody knew he wasn't going to go too far from home. So it was always, it was West Virginia, it was Michigan, it was Ohio State, it was Penn State. Like, that was it. Tressel got the right guy. There was a glass manufacturer over there that Tressel got close to. That's the guy who was close to Pryor. That's how he ended up at Ohio State. But the dad, or the grandpa, I think, loved Joe Paterno. But that was it. I mean, and so, yeah, he was all the things. So the idea that he overcame all of that and somehow had a 1,000-yard season is crazy.
Like, if you would watch that there,
you say no way.
it was honestly like, hey, Browns guy. Like, if Gibbe was trying to get off the line of scrimmage, or one of us really went out there with a press man corner and tried to run a route, we wouldn't get anywhere.
No.
Like, being realistic about it. That's what it was like, and then a year later, he had 1,000 yards in the league. That, to me, is still one of the most incredible things I've ever seen.
That was a great Al Saunders. Maybe one of his finer coaching moves.
I just talked to him.
Really?
The great Al Saunders. He was in town for a Dick Vermeil's enshrinement.
Oh, sure.
They are great
Kansas
friends.
City, right? They worked together in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I mean, the job he did with Pryor that season is
legendary.
to get him ready. And by the way, in that Dolphins game his second year, he ran the Wildcat for us because we really didn't have a quarterback.
Hold on a second. Let me pull this up from the game logs.
Like, he played quarterback because we were out of quarterbacks 3 weeks into the season. We'd gone through 3 or 4.
Yeah, Kessler started.
Yeah, he was number 3.
Kessler was the quarterback that game, but then he got kind of like, I think he fumbled early in the game that they returned for a touchdown. So they designed a game plan to compete with them in that one. In that game against Miami, he had 8 catches for 144 yards and then played Wildcat quarterback, 4 rushes, 21 yards, and a touchdown, and also threw for 30. He was 3 of 5 for 35 yards.
Yeah. He played
In one
Wildcat
game.
for us that game.
So
And we
who are the
lost
quarterbacks in
overtime.
16?
Kessler.
Well, it was
I
think it was
imagine-
McCown, RG3, and then Kessler, right?
Oh, McCown was in the mix in 16?
16 was RG3. RG3,
You drafted Kessler?
Kessler.
That was he would trust me.
There was
Trust me,
another
third
one
round.
in there because Kessler was number 3, I feel like, on the depth chart.
Well, whatever.
We
Whoever
got
it was,
to number 3 by week 3.
So McCown was Kessler 0-8, McCown 0-3, RG3 1-4.
Here's the crazy thing. Like, put yourself in Terrell Pryor's head, and you're looking at Cody Kessler, and you're going, I am a better quarterback than this.
Yeah.
I promise you that. He's one of those guys,
Hold
if
on
he
a
comes around in a different time, his whole thing is different.
We also had Kevin Hogan that year and Charlie Whitehurst. That's when we had a little.
Clipboard Jesus.
Oh,
We got
wow.
one game with Charlie Whitehurst where he went 14 of 24 for $182, a touchdown and a pick.
At the peak of his powers, dating Jewel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
peak of his powers.
No,
And that year, think about this. We were so bad throwing the ball.
Bad
Crow
decision
ran for
making by him.
952 yards and averaged 4.8 yards a carry. And Duke averaged 4.9 yards a carry and ran for 358 of his own.
Crazy. All right.
Man.
Lots to get to on the program today. As I mentioned, we'll go around the NFL. Lots going there. Hopefully we get some update on what our team will look like on Friday before the end of the program here. And so you have that to look forward to, which is nice. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. on a just a quick. Let me make sure this is. We talked a little bit yesterday about the new, like the college football landscape shifting a little bit. Well, not a little, lot, with that new Big Ten TV deal, which they are approaching in an NFL way. It's a very NFL process of on the networks, split by the networks, and so forth and so on. Jack Swarbrick, who's the athletic director at Notre Dame, was on a school live chat, was asked about the Big Ten's new TV deal. He says it is perfect for Notre Dame. We need NBC to have more college football to more effectively promote our games and to talk about our games and to have NBC be seen in that light. So that was great for us. My theory is that it's also I'm not saying it's likely. But I think I would not be shocked when the Big Ten announces this new deal if Notre Dame is also part of that. It would not
is going to
surprise
be
me.
in the Big Ten.
Now's the time.
Now is the time.
Now's the time. So and this deal with NBC to me just further pushes that. And if they want the Big Ten to play, if they want the Big Ten to add Stanford, so they have another traditional rival, fine. They'll add Stanford. That's fine. Stanford's good. That's not going to hurt anybody's feelings. You could do that pretty easily. Yes.
Why
Mr.
not
Scarra.
Arizona for Zago? Come on.
Poor Zago. I was listening to
Basketball
Simmons.
power. It's had a few fleeting moments in football.
It's just not a market or brand that's going to get
It's
it
a
done.
great
brother.
brand, though.
It's just
Basketball
for
powerhouse.
us. For us, it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it is. We grew up out west. I don't
I
know
feel
that
like
it
everybody
crossed
knows
over.
the Arizona Wildcats from a hoop standpoint.
But hoops don't drive the bus.
Yeah.
Hoops are. Kansas is still in the Big 12. Carolina and Duke are nowhere to be found. They're going to be stuck in an ACC deal
Sure.
that sucks for the next 14 years.
Arizona, though, I don't know if Kansas, North Carolina, or Duke have ever at any point been number one in the country. And
Arizona was in Sports Illustrated. I don't know if they ever were in the AP.
I had that in my locker. I had that.
Yeah, that Desert Swarm. Yeah.
Teddy Bruschi, Chris McAllister.
Yeah, that was a squad. Kansas played in an Orange Bowl in the last 15 years. North Carolina was ranked in the top 5 under Mac Brown in the late 90s in football.
Who's that, like Ron Curry?
It's probably before him. I think it's Oscar Davenport.
Okay.
Julius Peppers.
Yeah. Sure.
Maybe Robert. No. Quinn was much, much later. There was another defense. Dre Bly. Dre Bly was on that team. So, yeah, there's. But anyway, I think that's probably how that thing's going to go. And probably what will happen is if that is the case, then the remnants of the Pac-12, whatever's left, if they are poached, some of the bigger ones are poached by the Big Ten, then whatever's left will then matriculate to the Big 12.
Why can't – this is what I would want. Why don't the teams that are not great in football, that don't move the needle in football, why don't they form like the teams that are basketball teams?
Yeah.
Why don't they form their own conference? Because they're never going to move the needle in football anyway. And at least now you have a super basketball conference that would get all the college basketball TV.
Because they all want their chunk of the football revenue. The football revenue is the $100 million.
Yeah.
So they can't. They need the football revenue to prop up the basketball.
Support it.
Even at places like Duke, Carolina, Kentucky, like they need the football money.
Yeah.
That's the way it all works. It's the economics of the whole thing. But that's where that thing stands. So that was interesting. That's the first time I've heard Swarbrick talk on the record about any of that. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, we'll go around the NFL landscape. Final hour on a First Friday coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And the Bath Authority can give you that bathroom of your dreams. Why not transform your current bathroom into a custom bath that'll feel like a spa in about a day with our good friends at the Bath Authority? They make it a reality for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors. The Bath Authority is Cleveland's premier bath and shower remodeler. Experts, factory trained. You give them a call now, you get $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. That number is 216-220-8399. They have an enormous selection of bath projects. They're all made here in America. You can change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding again in about a day. Simply put, superior products with expert installers at the Bath Authority, 216-220-8399. $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel at the Bath Authority. As we reset hour two, hopefully get some insight into what our team will look like by the time we get to Friday. Hopefully here in the next hour, so you can kind of know. We know what we're going to see out of Jacksonville on Friday. You're going to see a lot of their starters. The number one pick in the draft played in the game in Canton against the Raiders, so I would assume we would see him again as well. Looked good, too, by the way.
He did. He had a sack in that game and was able to, he did look good. Able to rush the passer, win some one-on-ones, which is what you want, because that was one of the questions about Trayvon Walker coming out was when you watched his tape, a lot of his sacks were plays where he was either unblocked or, kind of cleaned up into the sack as opposed to just beating somebody, and he was able to do that. And that'll give a good test, I think, in some ways for our guys. And we've talked so much about, seeing Jedrick Wills out there. This is a team that can get after the quarterback a little bit. Josh Allen has been a very productive player for the Jags, and they'll have him on one side. They'll have Trayvon Walker, the number one pick in the league, on the other side. And so I think that's going to be some good work, whether it be Jed Wills on one side. We won't see Conklin. So whether it's Hubbard and really his first action back, or whether it ends up being a James Hudson, that's good work, I think, for those guys when you go against Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker. And then K'Lavon Chaisson was a first-round pick who was trying to get his career going. Another LSU guy. Was he drafted by Atlanta, I want to say? Does that make sense? I don't know if that's right or not.
Feels like it.
Feels
you said
right.
It sort of emphatically. I would believe it if you meant it.
That wasn't.
It's like 60% emphatic.
Yeah, let's say
60, 65, 70 maybe. Yeah. Now, they get some dudes. They get this. Look, you understood. I mean, you go back. We telegraphed why it was going to go brutal with Urban there. I believe we laid it out exactly how it would go, and there was a couple of ways for it not to go that way, and he didn't do any of them. So it went exactly how you thought it would go. But you also understand why somebody like him would take that job. Yeah. You're the number one pick. You got a lot of assets, and you got some nice young talent.
Sure you do.
So you can flip this thing quickly down there in a division that's going to get to be really winnable pretty quickly. I mean, Deshaun's not in Houston anymore. You've got this, Indy's got Matt Ryan, so there's a window there, and it feels like Tennessee's window is closing.
Oh, the Jags did draft him, so he was 20th overall in the 2020 NFL draft, but that's another first-rounder.
Yeah, they got a nice squad, man.
I mean, you think about their pass rushers.
Look at that dog.
Look at Josh Allen, who has been phenomenal for them, was their first-round pick, 7th overall in 19. Kentucky guy. He had 7.5 sacks last year, 10.5 as a rookie. So, I mean, you're talking about their edge rushers, their top 3 edge rushers, number 1 overall pick, number 7 overall pick, number 20 overall pick.
Yes, they've invested heavily there.
You could say. All SEC guys, too, right?
Yep. As we go around the league, the NFL is planning a Black Friday game in 2023. Amazon Prime will air it. Gibby points out an interesting note here. The game will likely be played during the afternoon, as the league can't televise primetime games on Friday nights in November as part of its antitrust exemption. Why? What?
Huh?
Come again?
Yeah, but
you're not on. Too bad you don't have a light.
They're doing a Black Friday game. That's
now you're on.
Stevie.
Sad. Hate to see it. Stevie.
Yeah, I've seen the verbiage listed a couple times, and I'm like,
I don't understand. Just on Black Friday, or they can't play primetime games on Friday in November?
Friday in November.
It's not like college football is playing on Friday in November.
They're trying to.
Well, they will, but it'll be secondary games, third, fourth. It's not going to be the top games. Aren't going to be played on Friday. The only thing that's always played on Friday, going into Thanksgiving, it's either Egg Bowl, Mississippi State, Ole Miss. And then a lot of times LSU will play Arkansas on that Friday. Usually LSU Arkansas is at 3:30, and then Mississippi State Ole Miss is the night game on that Friday.
Didn't that used to be Nebraska Oklahoma?
No, it was Nebraska Colorado.
That's
Nebraska Colorado was a big
I knew it was
Friday.
Something out there.
Friday after Thanksgiving game was Nebraska Colorado. Good job, you Gibby. You got 50% of the right time, right all the time.
Yeah, that's where we're at today.
I'm going to be real honest with you. This is the biggest product in sport in North America by a pretty wide margin. I do think don't do too much. we're on a lot of days in the National Football League. It's a lot, right? And I know you want the piece of the pie from everybody with the streaming, and we're going to run this here, and we're going to get this streaming money. You got to be a little – you're running Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's a little fatigue.
Yeah.
It's a little fatigue for me. Like, I don't know.
We've
We'll
talked
see.
about it. By Sunday
you don't
night,
want to oversaturate.
we're not waiting for Sunday night.
No, it's my I'm not. I'm tapped at that point. Unless my team's in Sunday night, then I'm geeked. But even if it's a great game, a lot of times I've watched so much football that
You've been waiting.
I'm not.
Literally, you've been waiting all day.
You've been waiting all day. You've been watching all day. You've been watching all day for Sunday night, and then Monday's the sweet spot.
Well,
so now you're running out of Thursday, and you're going to run out of Friday, and then we're going to have more Saturday games.
And now you're expanding your European games that start at 9 a.m. I mean, literally, you're going from 9 a to 11 p on some weekends.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers believes limited playing time in the preseason is a waste, so he's like Joe Thomas in that regard. Joe, how many? Remember we asked Joe how many practices do you need?
3.
3.
Yeah.
By the way, it looked it when he was here. 3.
He's ready to go right now.
I'm fairly confident it might have been 1 or 2.
Yeah,
right
based
now.
on how he
I
looked.
told him, I said, look, we use an extra offensive lineman, kind of that blocking tight end.
Yeah.
You could do that in your sleep.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Like if we were ever in the next 5 years, if we were ever in a Super Bowl and something were to happen to Jed Wills in the playoffs,
he'd have to come out to the Rocky theme though. Dun, 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 dun,
oh my
dun, dun,
God,
dun,
can
dun,
you
dun,
imagine him?
dun, 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 dun,
What weight would he want to get to because he's lost a lot? What weight would he want to be at? I wonder if like let's say something.
But you're
God
saying this
forbid,
happens and you have 2 weeks to get ready. Like you
Right,
can't all of a
but
sudden throw 30 pounds on your body.
I would like to put you can't put his mind in a pretzel much, but like if that happened in the AFC Championship game, text him right now. This is the question. We want to know if there was an injury at left tackle in a hypothetical AFC Championship game and you had 2 weeks to get ready for the Super Bowl, what would your process be? Because I do think he would play in the game. That's what I want to know. I want to know what his process would be. Because he would have one. I just would be curious, like, would he load up trying to put on weight? Or would he stay at his – I mean, he's going to want to put on some weight probably, but, like, his strength would be his quickness and his technique, and his strength would be an enormous advantage. Plus, it would be like the first gold jacket guy. If it's not this year, it'll be the first gold jacket guy to play while he has a gold jacket, which would be an amazing feat for the Hoff.
So I think that I don't know that from a weight standpoint, I mean, how much can you do in 2 weeks?
Well, he would know. I don't know. I don't know what the
I
human
mean,
body's
if he's
capable
putting
of.
down
His human
8,000
body.
calories in a day like we've seen
But he
him
doesn't
do.
want to be sluggish either.
Correct. You got to find that happy medium.
I bet he has an answer for it. Did he receive your? Are you getting
He's gotten the
bubbles
text.
back?
Yeah, not yet. I think he would. I'll tell you, I saw his kick out there in flip-flops on one leg, whatever. His technique is going to be fine. It would be like riding a bike. His process would be fine. I think what he would be the most concerned about is throwing himself into the playbook and into the tape of the other team's pass rushers. I think that would be his number one focus. And I mean, you can't at 30 pounds. I think he probably would. He'd probably he'd probably eat as much as he could.
I just want to see here.
Yeah.
I'm curious what his answer would be on it. Hopefully, we get it.
You
got to
worry if you're Joe Thomas about burning it all off as quickly as you're putting it in your body.
Joel Bitonio, and he claimed this yesterday that he lost on Sunday's practice, which was a heater.
Yep.
He lost 10 pounds.
Joel did.
Yeah.
Yeah. In
the
one practice. Yeah.
They said Alex Mack used to lose 15 pounds with such a prolific sweater that he'd have to change his shoes out 3 times during practice because it would be like, when you stand in standing water and you get the bubbles, that's how his shoes would be.
Holy cow.
And they'd have to swap out the footballs and his pants because
That's
on the back of the quarterback's throwing hand, brother.
Right. It's weird he didn't move to guard at some point just to avoid the
He was
headache
so
of
good
it
at
all.
center.
He was so good at center. Roger's saying, I definitely don't see any benefit to playing one series. If we're going to play, we should play and play a quarter, a couple of series, 2 or 3 series. Just suiting up for 4 plays to me is a waste. Perfectly said.
I think he's right
agree.
about that, and I think that he would say one series, it's more about plays, right? So if you went on a 10-play scoring drive, that you'd probably feel like, all right, I got some good work there. But, yeah, that's where you're at. He also had a good comment about Jordan Love that he really thinks things have clicked for Jordan Love. And he said, look, it took me 3 years for things to click. And
yeah.
I got a lot of criticism and scrutiny for it, and it's worked out well for me. And he said, "It's with my success, my memory of the criticism is faded," which I thought was great. But Jordan Love's an interesting guy. I think that he could be.
I mean, Rodgers staying there has afforded them the luxury of, if they like the clay, of taking the time to mold it to exactly their specifications.
That's right.
So it's really, from an NFL team perspective, it's the perfect way to do this.
Sure.
They did it with Rodgers, and now we'll see if they can pull this off again. We'll see. All right, CBSSports.com. Must-see NFL rookies in 2022. Of course, this is at the top of the list. Remember, why is it that – and we were wrong on Patrick Queen, right? It feels like right now we're wrong on Patrick Queen, although people still high on him. But, like, I remember going into the draft and loving Kyle Hamilton.
Same.
And going, it's just not Ravens. Just not Ravens. Anywhere but there. And he's the guy. So he's at the top of this list of rookies to watch. He's got Stingley on this. He's got our guy David Bell on this list at number 9.
Yeah.
Didn't he get roasted on some coverage the other day?
Stingley?
No, Hamilton.
Maybe. I'm not too worried about it.
He's a good player.
Yeah. I mean, he could. I mean, in camp it happens.
So Bell, he's saying the reason Bell
roasted
is
by a undrafted free agent.
Didn't that same thing happen to the kid in Dallas who was the All-Pro last year, Diggs?
Yeah.
Trayvon Diggs?
You're going to lose some
I
one-on-ones.
don't think he's having a good camp.
Yeah, he's fine. He'll be fine. Drake London on this list, the receiver at USC. Remember we spent all that time on receivers?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Khalil
Malik
Shakur's
Willis.
the guy that was on our list, and they say
He was.
for the Bills.
A rare cat. That's not used enough. A rare cat. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Malik Willis in Buffalo. I've heard good stuff out of Sammy Howell out of Washington, that he's looked pretty good.
The guy that you've heard the most about is Romeo Doubs or Dubs.
We all talked about Christian Watson, but it seems like this guy's stealing the show.
Yeah. Apparently he's morphed into Devontae Adams in camp.
Where's he out of college?
No idea.
I don't ever. In all the receiver
Nevada.
Boy, in all the conversations we had at receiver, I don't remember saying his name. Or
Nevada.
Yeah. And then our guy David Bell on this list at number 9.
Kind of in a backhanded compliment way, by the way. David Bell on this list.
Bell makes the list because he's a fascinating film versus athleticism case study. At Purdue, Bell was a downright stud, tracking the ball downfield, check, yard after catch, mastery, check, route running, yep. But he tested horribly in Indy. He did. But to me, he's just a football player.
Yeah.
That's it. And he had great – this is what – I remember saying this when we drafted him in the shows leading up to it, why I liked him going into the draft, coming out of it. How do you do when you're at Purdue? How do you do against the Buckeyes? How do you do against Penn State?
Yards,
how do you do against
yards,
Michigan?
200 yards.
Those are the game. That's what I want to know.
Iowa?
Yeah.
200 yards.
Iowa, one of the best defenses in the Big Ten in most recent years. He was great. He was great in those games. So if he can stay healthy, then away you go. And he was a big pedigree on him, too, coming out. This from Mike Tomlin. Boy, he is trying his best with chicken salad here. Did you see the quote about how they're all playing? Everything I'm reading out of Pittsburgh is that all three are just brutal.
And that Mason Rudolph's the best.
Yeah, Trubisky, Pickett, Rudolph are all just brutal, especially the first two. Trubisky and Pickett have had really, really rough camps.
Awful.
I did not like Pickett in the draft.
No.
In any way. To me, again, Sam Howell was a 5th rounder. I like his arm more. I don't know what that was. Magneto. Easy. Need those
what
pipes.
Just happened?
I
Need
don't
those
know.
pipes. Got to have
But
the pipes for
a
Friday.
jolt of electricity went through my body.
Geno Smith will get the start for the Seahawks in preseason game 1. They are the leaders in the clubhouse for the C.J. Stroud sweepstakes.
Yeah, I'm in
If you're going CJ, if you're running out Geno Smith and
How's
Drew
that
Lock,
possible?
you remember what I felt about Drew Lock? Not much.
Not much.
So those guys are they're going to be the deal there. All right, we're going to hear from Perry and Winfrey, his availability yesterday, his thoughts on what he's seen from Myles Garrett. Hopefully get an answer from the Hoff on how he would approach it with 2 weeks' notice. I
Yeah,
like the
come
idea
on.
that we have this stuff to just throw at him.
Yeah.
I mean, what's he doing? Is he on a plane maybe?
That's tomorrow. I
No,
think.
tomorrow.
Okay. So he should be around,
He should be around.
cruising around, checking
Probably,
on his steers.
He might be getting jacked.
Here, by the way,
It's a Wednesday.
this is Mark Caboli from The Athletic in Pittsburgh.
That guy's what a human.
Trubisky
Tremendous
almost picked on back-to-back 7-shot drills. Other 2 reps were incomplete, 0 for 4, just awful reps. So far in the one session, Mitch 0 for 4 with 2 picks. Mason 2 for 2 with 2 touchdowns. Pickett 0 for 2.
I'm telling you, I just think That was an incredible rehabilitation of Trubisky for no real reason. Like an association with Brian Dable and Josh Allen only.
We said it as clear as day at
As
the
could
combine.
have been said, yeah.
The best he could
What's
do after
changed?
people watched him play football as a starting quarterback in the league was 1 year, $2.5 million to be a backup. Then after not playing football, he gets 2 years, $15 million. Not playing football, what changed? You still have to play football.
You do. That's an important part of playing football, is actually playing it. We'll hear from Perry on Winfrey coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. The Land on Demand is now free in the palm of your hands during the entire month of August. ESPN Cleveland and our friends at the Bath Authority giving you fan-free access to the Land on Demand for all the news you don't want to miss. You can see us live in the brand new studios or play all your favorite shows commercial-free and on demand and get all access to Tony Grossi's Browns analysis and more. Visit thelandondemand.com or download the app today. The Land on Demand, remodeled by the Bath Authority. Perry and Winfrey available. What is this? Was this yesterday? Day before? When did we hear from Perry? Yesterday? I like that guy.
Yes.
We all do.
It was
Yesterday.
Yep. All right. Here he is with some thoughts on what he's seen with Myles Garrett.
Right, he's focused. He's always doing what he needs to do on and off the field. He's always having the right keys on the field. He's always doing what he needs to do. He's always going 100% every single play, and even in all drills, making sure that he's doing whatever he needs to do to make the most of that drill. So just being around him and seeing how he performs and why he performs is because of the way he practices. So
here is Perrion on toning down the talking. Do we want him to? Let him live.
You got to earn the right to talk, and I think
like Joe Woods always tell us, our mantra is all bite, no bark. So I don't feel like there's no need to be continuously barking or continuously talking. I feel like once the season comes and I start to bring that juice back and start to make plays on the field, that's when I'll be back to doing all the antics. But right now I'm just head down, just working, just trying to be the best player that I can be every day.
So that's what I was saying. Their mantra is all bark, no bite.
Yep.
He's come in here and he has got a lot of tools. He needs to be more consistent with his technique. And I think when he starts making the plays, then you will be able to hear him. And I think that's what really kind of the hope is. Earn the right to go ahead and talk, which is, speaking of, and this is a quick little tangent, because why not? Let's have a little tangent. Jamar Chase did some talking.
Good.
I like it.
I love it.
Love it.
Love it. By the way, he's earned the right.
He's great, and Denzel fired back, and he'd earned the right.
Yes.
And I know he kind of took a shot at Greg, saying all he does talk. Well, I think at the end of the year, Greg's play will do plenty of its talking. But I'll tell you what, knowing those guys the way that I do, and knowing that room the way that I do, here was their response. This is exactly how it should be. This is fun. This is why we play. They're good. We're good. Let's go.
Yes.
Check ball.
Yes.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's it. I think that, I see it. I see it in the youth, the youth stuff with the youth kids too. Like, people, like, there's all these little kids want to do the gritty, right?
Yep.
They score a touch. I don't care if they're Bootsy's age or not Black Cobra's age.
We got to
age.
teach. We need
NBC.
Bootsy to do something different so he stands out. Like, maybe we get him doing the worm. Like, how great would Bootsy, a touchdown worm
I think
from
I
Bootsy?
had him doing a worm the other day. Bluey's back, so he's all excited for Bluey being back.
I saw that you tweeted about
He's
that.
so
What is
jacked
that?
up about
Is
it.
that like
It's
a variation of Blue's Clues?
Yeah, let's see. This was him. This was he was dancing to Bluey the other day, so he's got that.
Oh, that's
movement.
kind of like the backstroke.
Yeah, he had that. He was all excited about the other day. So yeah, we
His
do need to
zest
get him
for
doing it.
life is great.
It just soaks it up. Great practice out of him yesterday and all of his teammates. Their first time out, but everyone's like, "Oh no, just hand the ball to the rep." Shut up.
Yeah,
If they're not taunting, let them have a little fun.
Nate,
God,
Nate, you gotta act like you've been there, Nate.
I haven't.
Or even
I'm
if I
6.
have, guess what?
It's
awesome.
hard to get there.
It's awesome.
I just get tired of it.
I have a great
Let
analogy.
a little kid have fun, man.
I have a
Let
great
these guys have
analogy.
fun. This is great.
That I'll share with you in the break. It's not fit for the air, but I just came up with a great analogy on the spot. Really sums it up.
You can't share it on air?
No. No, I cannot.
Here's the deal. This makes it all more fun.
Yes.
This makes it more fun. We weren't good enough for a better part of the last 2 decades to be involved in meaningful trash talk. Right? Some of the most fun that's happened in this division in the last 2 decades is Bengals, Steelers, Ravens, right? And John back and forth.
Yeah.
We're good enough now that we can do it. We're good enough now that the best receiver on the AFC champions, our guys' names are coming out of his mouth.
That's right.
That doesn't happen when you're not good. So that's awesome. And this is good. And Denzel going back at him's good. This is what we want.
Yes, and Denzel put together a beautiful video showing what happens, getting the little pick 6 and how great that was. I loved it. It is awesome. And again, in the bigger context, that's what's sad about this is that we were going to have the full enchilada, and I'll still hold out hope. Right now it's at 6 games, but week 8 here, Monday Night Football, Bengals, Browns, Battle for Ohio, the only game on television that night, prime time, under the lights. Like, let's go. There's a little juice in that game. There's a little juice there. And by the way, folks, in professional wrestling or in ultimate fighting, boxing, what happens in the ring is obviously exciting and you want to get there, but what gets you amped to see it is the talk before that, the build. So it's fun to have a little build, and it's fun that Jamar Chase is that good that he's going to talk about our guys because that means he does respect them. Otherwise, he wouldn't be talking about them, and vice versa. That's a good thing. I love it. I loved that. I love the fact that it was said. I love the fact that it was seen. I love the way that it was responded to.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that it's some competition. Let's go. You're good. I'm good. Check ball.
Yep.
Let's
I
go.
love it. I do too. It's so much more fun when you have. It means you're relevant, man. You're in the mix.
It is fun.
Yeah, it's good. This is when Deshaun plays for us, and we are as built as intended. That thing, them down there and us up here,
could be really good.
Is going to be something else. There was a funny thing. So they did their stadium naming rights. I think Tuesday maybe they did it. Paycourse or whatever it is. Yeah. So they did that. So one of the guys down there who I know, he goes, they should just call it the Pay Joe Burrow Stadium. Like that's because that is a real something that they got to get sorted out.
Well, and that's why
because there's a ton of money
in cash right now.
Yes, there's a ton of money that has to be put into escrow to be able to do that. To do the Joe Burrow Fund.
I realize a field house is a certain type of building, and I know a dome is a certain type of building, but they should just call it the Paycor Jungle. That sounds way better than just Paycor Stadium. It's already known as the Jungle, right?
Yeah.
The Paycor Jungle that sounds all right. I can get my head around that.
I don't know.
But to go from Paul Brown Stadium to Paycor Stadium, that doesn't do anything for me.
Tough one.
But the Paycor Jungle,
Now I'm in.
Now I'm in.
Yeah.
You can play Welcome to the Paycor Jungle. They play that song anyway before every game.
Yeah. The most effective use of Welcome to the Jungle was the Miami Hurricanes at the old Orange Bowl coming out of the fog. That was the most effective use of Welcome to the Jungle.
Sure.
Gibbe.
By the way,
you came over as if you were preparing.
No,
if you looked over and you saw a guy who was at this screen and then came over to the mic in that pose, would you not say that he wanted to speak?
Yeah.
So would I. That's what I did.
I'm a big fan.
He's got bated breath.
I also, like, from an entrance music standpoint, like Enter Sandman and Virginia Tech is.
I mean, if you want to do a Mount Rushmore, it's Welcome to the
could.
Jungle. Welcome to the Jungle. I have no problem with Enter Sandman at Virginia Tech. Penn State does a combination of In the Air Tonight into I think it's that thing. We are Penn State. So it goes from In the Air Tonight into that.
Okay, that's good.
That's a really good one. The Bucks do Hell's Bells.
Jump around.
Well, that's fourth quarter, though, at Wisconsin.
Yeah,
that's not a run out.
From an entrance standpoint.
I feel like anybody in Boston, if they ran out that Shipping Out to Boston song, like that's got to go nuts if anybody does that. I mean, do the Patriots
they do Sweet
that?
Caroline at the 7th inning stretch.
Well, that's 7th inning, but like do the Patriots run out to Shipping Up to Boston? That feels like a no-brainer.
They do not.
I could see Belichick not being for that. Then somebody in Boston's got to do that.
Teams have like run-out songs really in the NFL. So doing the introductions player name by player name, you know?
You're missing the boat. A running out
They do
is
a kickoff
tremendous
song.
A running out is a tremendous hit.
I think you almost do a situational song. Like Renegade, obviously, is a tremendous situational song. By the way, something just came across my timeline that
Is it good news or do I get?
I don't think. Adam Schefter was on the radio.
Check mark
on 97.1 The Fan. Yeah, it's his audio
on my station.
On your station with Rathman.
He's on every week with Rothman. Yeah,
Rothman.
Yep.
Said that this is the direct quote here, is the most likely outcome right now, and I don't believe it's close, is that Deshaun Watson does not play football in 2022.
Well, listen. Sources, Roger Goodell wants him suspended for a year. Well, you appointed the guy.
They're seeking it.
It's his guy.
The NFLPA
they've blown this.
Has blown this in just epic.
So is the NFL.
Of course.
The idea that we're sitting here August 10th and we nobody knows, and we got Schefter going on local radio in Columbus and doing this, and we're trying to guess. Like you assigned this guy last Friday?
Yeah.
Thursday?
Yep.
You assigned him with everybody to do exactly what you wished. So just do it. Make it so. And we'll deal with it. I was in a good mood. We're doing entrance songs.
Sorry.
Trying to,
Nice job, Zagura.
You blew it.
It's relevant, but I mean, gosh, sucks. All right.
It's the worst.
It just sucks so bad. All right, defensive quality control coach and run game coordinator Ben Bloom is going to join us coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
But who does he sound like to you? And it's a comedian.
Okay, don't give me any more.
Okay.
Let's just see if I can pick up on it.
Who has a show? Who has his own show?
We can acknowledge ruin the suspension of disbelief that you were talking to him live.
Well, yeah, but if you were here and I was here, we'd both.
Well,
be
but the
talking to
audience,
him.
maybe you're in another place. Nevertheless, here is Z.
Very happy to be joined by. Go ahead.
Ben Bloom. Let's have a listen.
Joined now by the Browns' D
You guys are down.
coordinator, great friend of the program as well,
About 10 minutes.
which we like, Ben Bloom. And Ben, how's this training camp going for you with everybody out here getting the pads on now and knowing that the first game's coming on Friday?
First, Nathan, it's great to be on the show, so I appreciate it. But we're off to a really good start. I think the players are working hard. It's exciting to be out here coming off a productive offseason. The guys have some more familiarity with the defense, familiar playing with each other, and, that's showing early. We got a lot to clean up on, but we're building a good foundation. I'm just really excited to see him in action in the game versus Jacksonville.
As am I. And let's go the room you spend most of your time with the linebackers, with Coach Tarver there. Jacob Phillips, we've seen a lot of this year, especially Anthony Walker started off on the injury list. He's back now. But what's Jacob shown you? Because he's been tantalizing the last couple of years when we've gotten to see him staying healthy so far. We'll knock on wood that continues. But what has he shown you in his growth here?
Yeah, Jacob's a really fun player to coach, and he's been doing a great job. He's a student of the game. He works extremely hard off the field. He's always prepared, and he does a really good job, communicating out there. And, the things that he did in college and he's done his first 2 years here, he's a long guy. He's got speed. He's aggressive. He's tough. He's always around the ball. And, again, he's got stuff to clean up too, but he's getting better, and it's showing up here in camp, and he's exciting to watch and fun to be around.
How's the wild man, J.O.K., who made his preseason debut was in Jacksonville a year ago. He ended up doing some covering guys in the slot, blitzing, doing it all, and he's doing it all out here, it seems like, as well.
Yeah, Jeremiah he's a pro. He's a mature guy, and he's working hard, and you can really see the growth, in his, understanding of the defense and where he can, has opportunities to make plays. He asks great questions in the meeting room. He's a really diligent note taker. Those are the things you might not see on the field, of course, and then on the practice field, he's a playmaker, and that's who he is. And the best thing is, when he has a, not a great play and there's room for improvement, he really kind of knows immediately, hey, I could have done this better. That's what I should have done. And to me, that's a lot of growth, because nothing's going to be perfect, but you start to see that maturity as a football player when you're not making the plays, but you know how to make them the next time. So it's exciting to see him work and, grow.
When you see kind of in some of those nickel packages when we've got Jacob and Jeremiah together, that speed, that feels like one of the fastest linebacker tandems probably in the league. And what does that speed allow you guys to do on the defensive side?
Yeah, we're proud of the whole room. All the guys we have can run, and they work really hard. Jacob and Jeremiah, they're fast. We see it. So certainly gives us, the ability to cover people and blitz and run and close space. So, that's what we do. Linebackers, we have a lot of jobs on the field. Those guys can do all those jobs, and so can everyone else in the room. So, we're confident that, whoever's out there, we're going to run and we're going to cover and we're going to blitz and we're going to tackle.
You got a guy who averaged over 100 tackles for the last 4 years, 3 in Indy, 1 with us, and Anthony Walker Jr., who would point out that he is fast as well, ran some track back in the day and was quite accomplished. What is having that veteran presence? Because a lot of guys we're talking about, we'll talk about Sione in a second, but it's a lot of younger guys, but then Awok's the one who's really got the most experience, tangible experience in the league.
Yeah, Awok's, he's a pro. He's a student of the game, asks great questions. He's got all that experience, so he's a guy that, as a coach, you got to bring it every day. You got to be saying the right things, have the right answers, and it's fun to be be around a guy like that, because they can challenge you as a coach, and that's a good thing. And then out on the field, he looks great. Run around. He finds the ball. He can play every position in the linebacker group. So, it's a real benefit as a coach to have a guy like that in the room. He's doing a hell of a job.
And then the guy that reminds me, and you can tell me if I'm right on this, that if Coach Tarver was able to go out and play right now, Sione Takitaki would have a lot of the same, the zest for the game, the pure joy of physicality and to play ball. I love that kind of parallel between them. And maybe I'm not right about that, but I see that. And what's it been like to be around Sione, who is, by the way, his hair is incredible. The mullet's really coming in nicely.
Yeah, the hair is awesome. Don't get it twisted. The hair's flowing and nice, but he's a blue-collar worker.
That's right.
So he's got that construction company mentality. And, yeah, I do think, the violence and the competitiveness off the edge that, Sione has, that's, certainly probably I know that's what Coach Tarver did when he was on the field back in the day. So all your assumptions are, I think, correct. But Sione's a really humble guy. He's a great listener. He takes coaching. He gets better. He's extremely accountable. He's a really fun guy to coach, and he's just a reliable guy. He brings it every day, and we really trust him, and it's fun being around him.
How much is he enjoying getting to call the plays on defense when he's getting some of that work at Mike?
Yeah, he's done a really good job. We pride ourselves in our versatility. Like I said, Anthony Walker, he's been able to play every position for us, and he kind of sets the tone in that way as a vet. And I think Sione, also a veteran presence in our room. When he's had to play Mike, he's done a nice job there. So it's a testament to how those guys work, how they learn the system, and how much they care. So we're fortunate in the linebacker room.
Yeah, so that's kind of the big four, right? And then you got a lot of young, hungry guys some who have been in the league, some have been with us in the past. Let's start with Tony Fields, our draft pick last year. How's he progressing here in year 2?
Yeah, Tony's done a really nice job. He's a physical guy. He's competitive, and you see it out on the field because he doesn't shy away from contact. He'll go get the ball. He can run, he can cover, he can hit. Those are the things we saw on his college tape, and he showed last year in practice when he had the opportunity to do so. And he's gotten a lot better practice to practice. He's correcting things and growing, and that's really all you can ask for. So I'm really excited about his future. He's a fun guy to be around.
Willie Harvey's made some flash plays, certainly stood out a couple days here out at camp. Also tremendous on the basketball court, I'm told, and a good talker. How's he kind of fitting in the room? And a guy who's kind of been in our program off and on for a few years, but has maybe a chance now to solidify that role. Yeah,
I'm really proud of Willie. He's working really hard. Mentally, he, knows multiple positions, and he's played, multiple positions with consistency. He's got quickness, he's got speed, he's got a nose for the ball, he's got playmaking ability, and I'm really proud of him and really excited when I get to watch him at practice make plays and be consistent, be in the right place, do his job, and just, be around the ball and, make tackles if we were allowed to tackle in practice and intercept the ball when we can. So he's doing a heck of a job with this opportunity, and, he deserves all the opportunity to, go out there and play and put some additional good stuff on tape like he's already done in his career.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see him certainly down in Jacksonville. And then a guy who returning to Jacksonville, Dakota Allen, who we brought in this year, was really a special teams guy down there. What has he kind of shown you in the linebacker room? And somebody who's, like I said, he's been in the league for a couple of years, a couple different teams.
Yeah, I mean, Dakota's, he has some familiarity with our system. So he came in and he learned stuff pretty quickly. He asked some really good questions and still is asking good questions now. So that he's got the right mindset. He's trying to learn. He's trying to get better. He's, played multiple positions already, out here. So it just shows you that he's a pro. He's got ability, and, I'm excited to see him play.
How do you guys process, and maybe in the meeting room or even after, some of the sounds that Jeremiah makes in his exuberance on the field that sound in some ways like an animal, like a bird of prey flying around, cawing around? How do you guys how do you process that? Do you grade some of the sounds that he makes from time to time?
I mean, I support all sounds that help you make plays on the ball, so.
You do. You guys having fun in that room?
Yeah, it's a great room. Coach Tarver is terrific coach, great leader, sets a great tone. I'm lucky to be in there with him and with those guys, and it's a really fun group. It's a lot of humble guys who just love ball and love learning and like getting better and enjoy working together. So you couldn't ask for more.
I know you guys also just brought a new linebacker in the room actually on Tuesday. Wearing 51 just like Silas was. Yeah. Also appears to have great hair, young man out of Cal, spent some time in Carolina and Washington. What can you tell us about our newest linebacker and what he brings to this team?
Well, first we miss Silas. He did a really nice job for us. He was, played Mike and handled all the communication and was always doing things right and, improved a ton and, excited for his opportunities in the future. Thankful for his contributions to the group. And, it's good to have Jordan in. Literally been around him on practice, but he was focused. He did the drills. He got better throughout the drill work. So, we're looking forward to seeing him play. We know he's, a good football player. He was in college. He has some experience in the league. So it's a good addition to the room. Again, our scouting department, does a great job bringing guys in and building the roster.
as a coach, is it fun? Sometimes you have so much familiarity with 6 of the top 7 guys. Dakota comes in, and then now you have somebody who comes in a day that is likely going to play, I would imagine, down in Jacksonville. Is that kind of a fun thing to get to coach somebody up that quickly and get them ready to play?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to say, hey, here's the call, here's where you line up, here are your responsibilities. Don't give them too much so they're not thinking about a million things, but give them enough so they can
Back in 30.
and play fast. And as you get through the walkthroughs and through the game, you answer more questions. But these guys are football players. You just gotta tell them where to line up, what their job is, and help them with their technique and let them play. So it's exciting to be able to do that on short notice with a guy, and that's that type of stuff happens in the regular season. That's our job to coach them and get them ready. So it's cool.
Well, we are lucky to have you and Coach Tarver doing just that. Ben Bloom, thank you very much for your time, and good luck on Friday.
I appreciate you, Nathan. Have fun.
You're up.
That guy's great. Big fan.
He's great.
Big fan.
So he reminds me of the star of Dave
Yeah.
on FX, which is a hilarious show.
Yeah.
And he is great. And he's
Who did I say it was a mix between
you said The Miz?
Oh yeah, and Pete Davidson. Like a little bit of both. Because there was that kind of the raspy. I'm not as familiar with the Dave show. I've seen
man, you'd enjoy it.
maybe 1 or 2 episodes
good.
of it. I watched an episode of Barry, I think on Sunday. I watched episode 1.
And
Oh, I like the building blocks. There's blocks.
Oh,
there's building blocks.
Oh, there are.
Yeah, the first scene was a tough sell on the missus.
Sure.
So I'm trying to get her to kind of wrap her head around. I think that you'll be satisfied with where it goes.
Yeah, like Miss K, totally fine with it. And at the end of the day, while it is
I mean, she watched Game of Thrones.
dark,
so
it's a dark comedy. And it moves more into, I mean,
again, she watched Game of Thrones, so she can handle it.
This is kindergarten compared to Game
Compared
of
to that.
Thrones.
By the way, I said I wouldn't be in on the Dragons. I'm going to be all in on the Dragons. Like
Okay,
just so all in.
Why was there any reason not to be in?
I just was so upset with how the thing ended.
Okay, no source material. All source.
All source.
100%
I know.
source material.
And then I'm not big on prequel versus sequel. I feel like I already know where this thing's going to – I do know where this is going to end.
But we don't know any, like,
So there's a lot in me.
broad stroke.
I just wish it was – because it's like 200 years before Thrones. So I wish it was more like 1,000 years before Thrones. So
Okay, but we're not going to get into anybody that we know.
Well, I think
Not
there
getting
will be
into, like-
some Easter eggs. I think there will be
Sure,
some,
but
a
not
lot
a
of familial
ton.
stuff. Yeah.
It's gonna
But
be a whole
no, it's
new-
going to be unbelievable. I mean, the thing looks unbelievable. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
The Rings thing is in September on Amazon Prime.
The Lord of the Rings, which
Yeah.
is going to be incredible.
It's gotta be
Yes,
incredible, too.
Also excited about that.
By the way, do us a personal favor. Maybe don't do all this stuff in football season.
Yeah. How about you wait for, I
Drop
don't know,
it in February.
when
I don't know.
when nobody's got anything going on.
Maybe drop all this stuff in February.
Right.
Why are you dropping all this stuff? They're going to drop Yellowstone, the new season, in November. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to us?
I don't know. Somebody just said to me, Nate, love everything Browns, but that Elves is horrible. Worst mascot of all time. Nope, wrong, erroneous.
Jeez, nobody who
And
doesn't?
it's
I've
a
never
classic.
heard anybody
That
not
is
like
from
the
the
elf.
first ever game brochure.
Somebody doesn't like the elf. I've never heard that.
1946.
I did see the a couple of our guys when they were saying like at midfield, put a dog at midfield. Like honestly, I know that people aren't fans of the dog thing, but like
We haven't gotten it right.
we haven't
yet.
got it. That's it. My kids would love the idea of the dog. Like there was some old merch that had like kind of a dog that was kind of mismanaged, but they were like all in. Like they love the idea of a bulldog. So that's it's got nothing to do with the history.
It's got to be done right.
Yeah, you got to hit it.
And it had not been.
It had not.
I mean, I had one sweatshirt from when we did the new one that kind of looked. I don't even know what it looked like.
Yeah. There's a way to do a dog.
Let me tell you something, brother. There was a time in my life where I did a show and I had to say this to close it out
Yeah.
every week.
Yep.
We bark together in the Dog Pound Report.
So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Training camp underway. Browns 50/50 raffle is open now. Go to the Browns mobile app or browns5050.com to purchase your tickets. The raffle ends on Sunday, August 21st. Don't miss your chance to win big while supporting the Stay in the Game network and shoes and clothes for kids. Safe travels, boys.
Thanks, brother.
To the J.
No, unfortunately, no updates
AX.
on what's going on, and I guess we'll get that tomorrow.
Swim
We're
some laps in the pool tomorrow morning.
No golf.
It's a business trip.
I will not stand for that out of you.
Let me tell you something, pal.
Listen, pal, I'm not having it.
Segura's got to be on his best behavior. He's making his debut. Doesn't want it to be the first and the last.
It's just an outrageously silly, silly and hurtful
Never
comment.
stops.
No.
Look forward to it.
Going
All right.
He was in here giving me credit off air.
Off
Remember
air,
that?
but
Off
on air.
On air.
I know
Full
it.
heel.
Segura's put in a yeoman's effort this week.
Thank
there
you.
we go.
Next
On the
level.
air. Now
Up
we're going to
next.
go drink heavily.
We're tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.